giving back to the community, knowledge sharing, collaboration, accountability, and everything stems from integrity. If you drop the ball once, people will not trust you, people will not believe you, your credibility will go down. This is our team. Alithia is our president and co-founder. I'm the other co-founder. I look after operations of this platform. Sabri Rajan is our third leader. He is vice president marketing. Anupama is our CIO, and Bharat Nangya, our extended arm in Hong Kong, is vice president for global growth. And he's doing a commendable job reaching out to hundreds of people every week. This is how we'll roll today. So after this presentation, I will have Alithia share some thoughts and ideas. Our business session will be from 8:30 to 9, and then our education session led by Arun, and we'll close at 9:30. So I shared this QR code earlier, where you can put your thank you and share this with other people so that they can join our community. I now hand you over to Alithia to take things forward. Alithia, I will click for you. Go ahead. Alithia?
Yes, hi. Can you all hear me?
Yes, but we can't see you.
I have a little issue with my logins today for some reason, but let me try. Can you all see me now?
Yes.
It works, right? Technology works, but I'm on my phone, so never mind. All right, great. So, guys, what we have put together is, uh, our journey of entrepreneurship, and I don't want to hijack on our yoga session today, but just very quickly, what we are thinking, what we are building, what we are creating is something that we want to share with you. Gaurav, are you going to keep clicking, or how do I go to the next? Yeah, go ahead. So, the entrepreneurship journey is usually, go ahead, just put all four of them. Is usually an endless cycle of unlimited number of hours of work, and still things don't get done. We are always spreading the word. We always think sales is important. We always think marketing is important. But most of the times when we're doing our marketing, when we're doing our selling, we're not necessarily getting the entire result. You're not necessarily getting the entire gain back from whatever you're trying to build and create. So we also have issues with pricing, where sometimes you're always just haggling and hustling for discounts that is asked all the time from our customers. And of course, we already know that it's a lonely world out there because employees are together, families are together, friends are together, but the guy on the top is usually sitting alone. And when you have something to brainstorm, to think, you're probably going to your other business friends or to your other potential people who are running businesses. But sometimes you come to networking groups like this, but nothing is accountable, and nobody is accountable. Nobody is committed to make sure you deliver to whatever in that lonely journey that you're trying to build and create. Because every day there is a new challenge. And every day you're putting in those number of hours, every day you're trying to spread the words, but not necessarily that you're getting the results. But of course, as we go, we learn and we improve. So many times as you keep doing, but you're learning from your mistakes. And that comes at a time cost, and that comes at the loss of revenue where something is done or not and stuff like that. So that's why what we're bringing together with the Global Entrepreneur Network, Gaurav, go to the next slide. Is, okay, put them all together. So we've created something called as the escape path. It's just an opportunity if you want to go further to whatever you're trying to achieve, or if you think you need that extra hand. We've created $100 escape path in Gen. So the Millionaire Mentors, and there are 6 platforms that we have created. We'll be happy to brainstorm if you need anything additional. But as a platform that we've created with some of our senior leaders, with many, many years of experience that we've all created. Some of us are also millionaires and stuff like that, right? So what we want to bring to our extended community overseas and over the world and over different parts of the world. And everybody thinks sometimes that potential area of expansion of your business. But to give you something more structured, to give you something more more accountable and more structured, we're creating this little extra opportunity for you to come on board if you want. And this is a one-time engagement. It's like it could be for a couple of hours or a couple of days as required. But for a simple thing like $100, we give you an extension of our gateway to global business. One which is going to be from Dubai, and one is from Bharat, based in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong again becomes another extended community where you could potentially find better feet in the market in the ground. So one is definitely if you need to expand seriously your business to China, Hong Kong, access that area of Asia, or you want to extend your business better to the Middle East, you can come on board for a small amount like $100, and some of us will spend some time and give you some clear guidance. What's the entry? Maybe give you a part of new partners or new connections that you would create, and give you that step up into the door. Now, authority positioning is basically if you want to present your business on our online meetings, then that's where you come in and if you say, okay, I want to present my business in a more intense, so we give you about 15 to 20 minutes in any of our upcoming meetings, and you can pay $100 and come and present your business to our community. When you're doing that, we would give you 1 month marketing. We will make sure more attendees are coming. We will promote and position your stuff. And then after a month or something, you can come in and present your business. So that's something that we can do. Like we said, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. You sometimes have business challenges. We used to do these sessions often in our community and in our group. If you think you want to share your business challenge, you're really stuck. You're at that corner. You're at that trademark, at that T-junction, and you don't know if you want to go left or right. These are the areas where if you want to come on our platform, share your business challenge. We'll give you about 20 minutes in our meeting online, and we can share your business challenge, and you can get inputs from the other attendees in the group. So we're trying to monetize a small way, but to give you more focused attention and a more focused this thing. So Gaurav, go back. And the last ones are, I can't read them actually. Yeah, so scaling growth and automation and AI and chatbots, marketing. So especially sometimes when you're spending a lot of effort on marketing, but you're not necessarily getting leads, you're not getting that. I've got a little session with sales. If you want, anyone is thinking you're stuck, you don't have that pricing plan, you don't know how to position your product, make sure you're getting no discount request, or is your pitch right? Then you connect with me on a sales listing for a small $100 and you get some inputs into how you're going to do that differently or better. So we're just trying to create a few problem statements which can be solved by a focused attention, and a dedicated action plan to help you resolve and overcome that. So now go to the next one, Gaurav. So why this is important and why we're thinking about creating this is competitors are growing, and people are doing something different and coming and growing out faster. And I always say time is the most valuable resource. And yet another year will pass and you're still probably on your same milestone where you've been. So I want to ask you all this question. Take 10 seconds to think. In the last 2 to 3 years, how much potentially has your annual revenue increased? Are you doing the same revenue what you were doing last year or the year before? And what's the growth in that revenue that you're doing? Because if you're generally, your annual revenue is at the same, or you're doing marginally better. So I want you to just think and reflect and ask this question. What's the annual revenue your business is doing year on year, especially for the last 2 to 3 years? And then second question you want to ask is, are you beating inflation? Because if your revenue is going to 6 to 7%, maybe 8% year on year, you're probably just beating inflation. So you're still at the same cost. So what's your growth strategy? So are you going to quantify this as a number and try and take action to see what you can do different? Or that's a thoughtful process. So Gaurav, go to the next one then. So it's your choice. or stagnate. Nothing changes until you do. So if you're going to keep doing what you already did all these years, it's going to continue. But here we are as global entrepreneurs, as our members that you're already coming every Saturday. We love you for that already. But any of you think you want to take that one extra step, we are here for you. This is a no this thing. Gotta put one more. Enter one more time. So the most expensive resource we always say is time. And we just want to give you this opportunity. If you want to connect with any of our millionaire mentors, like we call it, the leadership team of Gen, or another resource that you would want to either expand strategically in this region or in the Middle East or in the China, Hong Kong, etc., things like that, or just solve any question that you want, or use our platform to market your product or whatever service that you're doing better. If you think this is your target audience, and we are on YouTube, and we are we're going to add on LinkedIn Live as well going forward. So we're doing a lot of things, but you use our platform, use it to your advantage. All right. So that's what we wanted to bring. That's good. Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead one more time. So that's our escape part. You can stop sharing now because we have a yoga session now, right, Gaurav?
We'll start with our business session now, and Arun will join us towards the end of the business session.
Oh, so if you want to do the business session, I was thinking we're doing the yoga session because I haven't necessarily logged in from my laptop.
Okay, so
So let's
shall
create
we?
breakout rooms then.
Yeah,
In that case, let's do a 5-minute breakout room. Can you create them, Gaurav?
yeah.
All right, good.
So we are 16 people. I'm creating 4 breakout rooms.
So while we get into our breakout rooms, let's think what's the growth number on your annual revenues, and are you really beating inflation? Let's have a discussion in the breakout rooms on this.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, so are we the four in the group? Hello.
Hey, hi, you guys can continue the chat if you want. Yes, I think looks like a room.
Okay. I
You
just got
have all
the
Hi, Alifia. How come you're in the main room? And why was I kicked out? What is happening? Those.
Today. Just tolerate.
Hello.
So once everyone is back, Alifia, I would like to share my group's findings. It was very enlightening and very focused and very dedicated. But you are on mute, so I am not able to understand if you asked me to do that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So it's Alifia who's creating the music today. Okay. For us, group of 5, Dr. Onkar, our friend Ratandeep, then Sumit, and one more digital marketing guy, Suryakant. We all agreed. Fortunately, everyone said 2024 has been a revenue growth year for them. Everyone. Okay. And the current challenge is they are trying to address their segment of premium audience, premium as per their own business qualification criteria. And Dr. Onkar suggested how he is using AI to narrow down and how he has created a funnel using some preliminary questions using AI. So cutting out the, not required funnel people who come in and able to answer properly, uses bandwidth to address this challenge. So this is Dr. Onkar, and our group had a very interesting, discussion on meeting the challenge using AI. So back to you, Alifia. This is a report from my group. So Alifia is on mute. I think if she will enable, then we will have an echo there.
Now we can yell?
Yes.
Without any echoes?
Okay,
without
great.
the ecosystem, without the challenge.
So if anyone else want to share, that's amazing. So that's important and it's fantastic. Sorry for all these technical mishaps happening this morning. So does anyone else want to share how was it and
Yeah,
what was
Prakash
that?
here. Prakash,
Go ahead, Prakash.
yeah, Prakash, Lata, and Santanu. Three of us were in the breakout room number 1. And here we discuss about your topic about our turnover and year to year, how the growth has taken place. Now, Lata was having a growth of 15 to 20% year to year because of her insurance business without counting the renewals. And myself grew almost 35 to 40% on my solar business every year on the CAGR, 35 to 40% growth, though a small turnover, but good growth percentage wise. And Santanu has been growing on export business, mainly not much in local business, but export business is growing into his Ayurvedic medicines. So this is a report from our group.
Wow, amazing. I think as a benchmark, it's extremely important to quantify everything to a number because there's
Yes.
no emotion in a number and there is no ambiguity or there is no so when we quantify everything to a number, it's just
Yes.
like unbeatable and it's very,
Yeah.
very objective and it removes the emotion, it removes the stress, it removes the heartfelt emotion because sometimes we always think we're doing well because of the
Yes.
amount of effort and the amount of actions that we are putting in, but it may not be necessarily reflecting on the bottom.
To Alifia.
Realigning that effort, that grind, that turmoil into bringing it back into the bottom line. So that's what we have for now. Gaurav, are we ready with your speaker or do we do the business session? Because we can run the business session of introductions, but we have only about 20, 40 minutes. So I don't think we can do both.
Correct. Correct.
So should I?
Here, what I suggest is while we wait for the speaker, maybe Dr. Onkar can share something. Oh, Arun is here. Arun?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to see that in a Zoom meeting, there are people with faces.
Right.
quite a
So,
new-
brief introduction before I hand over the stage to Arun to share with us about his journey. I have known Arun for 30 plus years. He has been a regular yoga practitioner for the last 33 years with the Shivananda Yoga Vedanta Nataraja Center in New Delhi. He started his journey in 1992. And currently, he is one of the senior most teachers of Shivananda Yoga in India and probably the world. So he has a background in communication. He was with various corporates and then he chose to switch to yoga. Currently, he runs over 6 centers in Gurugram. They also offer online classes, and I have been fortunate to have been part of those classes for the last 6 months, which have resulted in some good results for my mind, body, and soul. So over to you, Arun, to share about how yoga can impact us as humans, as entrepreneurs, and for our overall well-being. Arun Pandala, over to you.
I'm thinking that somebody will be managing the room and
Yes.
spotlighting and highlighting and so on.
One moment. I
make
think
him
you are
co-host,
spotlighted as the speaker, right?
Yes.
I will try to do that.
You can give me
Yes.
you can give me co-host rights as well.
Yeah,
And-
one sec. Anupama, can you give co-host rights to Arun, please? You are spotlighted right now. Anupama probably stepped off, but
I'll do
you
that.
can
It's
start.
okay. You want to share, Arun, something?
No, I might like to kind of highlight something.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can give me
Yeah,
co-host.
we'll make you a co-host. You can start anyway. Just give us a second.
Yeah, all participants can share.
Yeah, good morning from India. I'm happy to be here with the GEN community, and thank you for Gaurav Paul for inviting me to this program. I have a lot to share, and Gaurav has given me half an hour. Usually, I take 2 days to talk uninterrupted, so that's 48 hours. I have to summarize everything in just half an hour, and already 1 minute is over. So we can talk about anything that this August gathering wants me to talk about, discuss, get some insights, get some action points, put some milestones along the way. Whatever you'd like to do, if you'd like to do some yoga, please tell me. Anything that you would like to do this morning, I'm happy to do that with you. First of all, I wish everyone a happy International Day of Yoga. Way back in 2014, Prime Minister Modi addressed a huge gathering of Indian diaspora in New York. This was in September 2014, and he said that two things must happen with yoga. One of them was that we must have a marker to recognize the importance of yoga in the world, to the people of the world. And so 175 countries signed a record referendum in just a matter of 40 days. They all agreed that it's a great idea to mark a day in the calendar for people to come together and at least have a forum like this to share, discuss, and bring together thoughts and ideas of how yoga can become more accessible, more available, and also in a way less mysterious or mystical. So that's what Prime Minister Modi wanted. And interestingly, that is why we are here today, 21st of June. The first International Day of Yoga was celebrated on 21st of June 2015. So it's 11 years since this whole program started. The second thing was that we must have some world standards for yoga. As you know, that there are many forms of yoga doing the internet and doing the streets, from beer yoga to surfing yoga to hanging down, upside down yoga, and so on. But classical yoga, the traditional form of yoga, is basically meant to get us all together, like individually and as human beings. And whatever that method is, it's pretty classical and traditional. So if you'd like me to talk about fitness in the modern world, we can talk about that. If you want to have an idea of how you would like to be great leaders beyond even the great leaders that you already are, then yoga has an answer for that. If you would like to talk about being champions beyond the champions that you already are, then yoga has an answer for that. Mostly when I talk to a group, I talk about three different things, and I can talk on either of the three, whatever you like. One is about lifestyle, daily habits. The second is about food and diet. And the third is about exercise. So let me hear and understand from you, what would you like me to talk about? All three have something to do with you sitting in the room, specifically, not generically, but specifically.
Okay, Bharat wants to ask. Go ahead,
Yes.
Bharat.
Thank you, Arunji.
Yes.
Focus today. I'm here to listen how yoga would be helping address my business challenges.
Good.
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Let's take a poll. Let's take a poll for all the three options that Arunji has. Let's take a poll in the room. Like for first one, how many show of hands? For the second one, how many show of hands? And the third one, how many show of hands? And then we'll go with the majority, and so that everyone is covered, I think. What do you think? Can we do that?
Yeah, a quick poll. Yeah, sure. It's good to use Zoom technology. Can you give me co-host so that I can
Gaurav, can you make a co-host? Because I don't know if I'm host at the
I
moment.
think Anupama has
You are co-host,
retired
Gaurav. You can make it co-host. You can make him and me co-host. Yeah. And the three dots on the right corner, top right of the picture. Just go ahead and
I am not able to see how I can make him.
Okay, that's
the
fine.
three dots on the image
Yeah,
or
he's
on the
there.
from the participants. Right click and make co-host from the participants.
No, I'm not able to see it.
Okay,
in
let's do
the
it
background.
like humans.
Okay,
So
so-
Arunji, what's the first option? The first three options, and we'll do a hand show of hands.
Yeah, the three options. The first option is lifestyle or daily habit.
Lifestyle or daily habit. The second one is how it helps your business or.
Food and diet, and the third is exercise or activity.
Okay, guys. So put. I think we can even use the chat. So one is lifestyle. Second is food and diet. The third one is food and diet, and the second one was business or
Exercise.
whatever, and exercise. Okay. So let's put 1, 2, and 3. So lifestyle right now. Third one is food and diet, right?
Yeah. So I think going with what Gaurav briefed me about, and also Bharat, and also what comes emerging is about.
I think
Focus-
since we're a business platform as well, it could be good to have how it can help with our business and
Focus on business, depending upon the kind of habits and the lifestyle that you choose. How can I develop focus? That's what Bharat asked, and this is my response. The thing is that I was speaking to a group of people at Nissan yesterday. Nissan is this Japanese car manufacturer, and I want to use this example. I was telling them, like I'm speaking to you as well, that when you buy a car, it comes with a user manual. But who made that car? Who are the bunch of people? Who are the human beings who made that car? And where is that user manual for that human being, the person who's sitting here in the room? Did we have a set of rules and regulations, a set of do's and don'ts? Did we as human beings have any idea of what is contained in this biology called the human being? For example, do we know how the brain functions? Like you and me, do we know? Or is it just left to chance, or do we have to consult a doctor or a specialist? Do we know how our stomachs function? What is the kind of daily habits that we should have to maximize our ability during the day? There are two people and we give them a task of cutting the tree. Well, maybe a little inappropriate in these times, right? To cut trees. Let's use it as a hypothetical example. That there are two people who are given the task of cutting the tree. One spends all his time sharpening the axe and learning how to cut the tree, and the other immediately starts off to cut the tree without any training and without the sharpening of the tools. Whom do you think will be more successful? It's a question to you in the room. Many times I get the sinking feeling that especially when I'm talking to the Zoom room, that I'm talking to myself.
I'm reminded of Stephen Covey, who
Yes.
taught us about sharpening the saw.
Yes.
And of course, it's important to, get our focus into being better rather than dive into doing. You might remember the concept of being. So
Yes.
how can we sharpen our being
Yeah.
before we get into doing?
Yeah, so I'm staying away from the tired and tested words. I'm just saying that including the saw, because immediately now Stephen Covey is in the room. Mine is an axe, and I'm asking an example between the two people who are standing looking at the tree. Who do you think has a better chance of of being successful in cutting the tree? It's a
We
question.
also
one
have Guru
axe.
Sandeep with us. Maybe he can throw some light.
The guy
The
who
one
sharpens
who
the axe.
flash,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I,
Sandeep,
I believe it is very important to take a break sometimes, sharpen your axe, learn
Yes.
your skills, know
Yeah.
where
So,
you're
so
going,
Lata,
do a,
you're ahead of the game. Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, we're talking about sharpening the axe right now.
yeah.
So the thing is that the person who's cutting the tree without sharpening the axe and also having no training for it will take a long time, Sandeep, you're right, to cut the tree. Whereas the person who sharpened the axe and also has trained himself to cut the tree will cut the tree more efficiently and quickly. This applies to you and me, ladies and gentlemen who are sitting in the room. I don't know what training you've had since the beginning of time from our school and college to look after yourself, to understand what matters. For example, we live in a world of human beings. Do we have any skills that we have learned how to deal with human beings? Have we learned how to interact and have relationships? This is a wonderful networking group. But did we get formally trained in school and college? Or did we get trained formally in school and college how to cut frogs' legs? Or the history of Alexander and Akbar? Of course, these are very important topics I must say, for leadership, isn't it? How to cut frogs' legs. How to be more efficient is very important to know. What is the chemical formula called H2SO4? That's what I learned in chemistry in school. My God, it's so important. Actually, in school and college, we learned a lot of things which may not have been having great impact on us as people, as adults, in adult life. For example, how to relate to human beings, how to communicate, how to be of service to people, and so that they can be of service to us. Like, how do we network in a world full of human beings? And we also did not, so we did also did not understand, for example, what's the kind of fuel we needed to put into our bodies for us to be more efficient, more sharp, more bright. What food, for example, or what drink will give us the brightness during the day that we need? How can we, as business people, how can we, as human beings, be sharp, not lazy, high on energy? How can we get the maximum out of our bodies and our minds through the kind of fuel that we put in? I was talking to the Nissan people yesterday, and I was telling them that if the fuel is not great, then no matter how good the manufacturing facility is and how great the technology is, the car is not going to function properly. And there is no formal education in school and college that gives us an idea of how food can be so powerful. And then coming back to Lata's comment, did we know how much we need to rest? Did we train ourselves in the art of resting? She says, let's rest sometimes. Once in a year, let's take 5 minutes break. Resting is very important. And then the moment you talk to Lata, she said, no, I don't have any time. I'm managing 5 different things at the same time. Don't bother me. I will rest sometime, but don't talk to me right now. The animals don't have this kind of existential problems. You look at a cow, you come back and look at the cow, and you come back next day and look at the cow is still there. It's resting. You look at the tiger, it went out to get some dinner, it's back where it belonged, still resting. All the animals, Lata, are resting 20 hours a day. They're not doing business. So this is the existential problem. How does Lata, the theorist, become somebody who actually rests and doesn't talk about it? She's actually resting. And something very interesting, if Lata rests, many people in her life will also relax. They will also rest. Are you aware of that? The more halchal you create, the more agitation you create for yourself, you're also creating a lot of agitation for everybody else. So I always say this to my students, do some shavasana, just lie down and relax. A lot of people will be very happy, not just you. So yes, so there are a few fundamental things that you can do, Bharat and everyone else, to take care of your the sharpening of the axe, so to say. So the first and foremost, in fact, what Lata said, I compliment her on bringing this up. 90% of the miracle, 90% of the miracle is to understand how to take good rest. And good rest doesn't mean listening to some music, sitting with friends, watching a good movie, or sitting out in the beach as Alifia is at the moment. It's wonderful to see the beach at the back. Of course, I know it's all fake. Yeah, so that is not rest. Rest is what dogs do. For example, if you keep pets, if you keep a dog, you know what rest means. The dog doesn't move an eyelash. Forget about the ear, not even an eyelash for most of the things. But if the dog hears the scraping of a carrot in the kitchen, and it's not a vegetarian dog, okay, but just the scraping of a carrot in the kitchen, immediately the dog will be next to the kitchen door. Can I also have some? But apart from that, you can come and go, and it can be raining or thunderstorm or hail, but the dog is not going to move. It's resting, Lata. The art of resting is not batting an eyelid for 18 to 20 hours in a day. So we need to know how to rest. So one of the tools and technologies that we have is the practice of asanas, or the practice of shavasana and the related postures, the yoga postures as we know them as asanas or steady postures. If you do shavasana regularly, let's say a 30 minutes, you take a 30-minute break. This is the break that we were speaking about, a 30-minute break. We just lie down. And ladies and gentlemen, not in the middle of the day and not while you're driving. If you just lie down underneath your desk, people are going to think really strangely about you. They might carry you away as well. Do whatever you do in full privacy, including yoga and whatever else. Just have an appropriate place. So maybe before bedtime or early in the morning, just lie down for some time. And then do a 30 minutes practice. That's what I teach Gaurav and most of my students. During COVID, I went 108 days, 108 days while we were all at home, the first wave in 2020. I went from 1st July to all the way to 15th of August, India's Independence Day. I call it freedom from stress, freedom from agitation and restlessness, and freedom from inefficiency. I went a whole 108 days. I taught a live class in the afternoon, 2 to 2:30, just doing shavasana. In all the essence of my work as a teacher for the last 35 years, one thing I've found that if human beings can take rest, take deep primordial rest, then you can be extremely efficient. You can do the things right the very first time. So I went 108 days every afternoon, 2 o'clock, when the world was going through the severe stress of COVID. We beamed it live, and anybody could join worldwide in the program. And we got hundreds of people joining us, just lying down and doing nothing. Just lying down, wow, and doing nothing. And that's what Gaurav said, we should go from doing to being. So they were all lying down beings. They were being nobody, and they were doing nothing. And this really helped. Studies have shown that the body heals itself provided you give it a chance to do so. And this is also excellent for people who want to use their brains more efficiently. And that's what the group here wants to do for business, that you want to be more efficient. So what Shavasana does is it removes the clutter and brings up our ability to think. The body has its own inherent capacity through 4 billion years of evolution. It knows how to use the technology that it has. This is the difference between, let's say, an automobile and us. So all you need to do is get out of the way for some time and allow the body to function. So this is the one of the ways in which you can improve the functioning of your body and mind and have more focus. I want to pause a bit, just put a comma, and maybe the group somebody would like to say something. I'm just scrolling through the text as well. In the meanwhile, if you'd like to ask me something, I'm also conscious of the time, so I'll keep to whatever time that Gaurav tells me to. So
We
any,
have about 10, 15
Yeah.
minutes.
yeah, we're good. We're doing well. Please go ahead. Anybody wants to ask a question? Well, it's a comma. Anything that comes to your mind that you'd like to talk about?
Sureshji, anything?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Alifia's comment. It could be tiring to do nothing. Trained as we are from school and college to keep running, 15 years of formative education tells us that unless we keep running, people will climb over us and we'll be soon dead.
Yeah.
But this
Arun,
is
I have a
yeah.
question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I have a simple question. While we know that mind is the problem area, and I have been listening about the breath has a correlation with the mind, and
Yes.
that is the simplest thing that anybody can deal with.
Yes.
While most of us don't understand even breathing.
Yes.
So maybe you can give us clarity on how the mind and breath correlation can impact people's life. Yeah, thank you.
That's great. So, Suresh, thank you for bringing the question up. From the asana, and out of the asanas, I chose just one, which is Shavasana, comes the next idea that the breath has a very important role to play in who we are. I tell my students, and I also say this to you: if you lose your temper at me, I don't blame you. I blame your breath. If my students are unhappy with me, then all I need to know is they're not unhappy with me. They are not breathing properly. There's a direct correlation between breathing, as Suresh mentions, in the most simplest of ways, and the kind of person we are and the kind of focus we have. Let's look at it. When we are angry, how do we breathe? It's a question.
Heavily.
And fast.
Fast.
We breathe fast and shallow, not heavy, but shallow. Breathing is shallow.
Short breaths.
Short breaths and fast breath is when we are angry. So actually, you're not angry, you are breathing fast and your breath is short. Are you getting me? That you're not an angry person, you're actually a nice person. Unfortunately, your breath is letting down, it is short and fast. So don't blame yourself or your genetics.
Okay.
Just put the entire blame, call the cops, and say your breath is not going okay. Now, you're having a lot of body ache and fever. How is your breath? Body ache and fever. Just think about it. Most of us have had body ache and fever sometime in our life. How do you breathe when you have body ache and fever?
You are in recovery mode or you are wanting to recover, so deep breaths.
No. I'm saying the experience when you're in pain and when you're having fever, how is the breath happening at that time?
I think it's
It is fast.
Fast.
Breathing it fast.
Shallow.
Shallow.
The doctor, insurance commander.
You can say that a little more loudly, not shy.
Lata is our insurance lady, so she knows all the medical.
Well, the breath is interrupted. You have an interrupted breath. You're not breathing fully. The breath is interrupted because you're in pain and you're not able to breathe fully. Are you understanding? Am I able to say what I want to say? That when you're in fever and when you're in pain, you're not able to breathe like in a string.
steady.
So don't blame your fever, don't blame your genetics, don't blame your hormones, don't blame your immunity. Just place the blame on only one person. What is that person? Your
breath.
breath. The breath is interrupted, that is why you have pain. The breath is interrupted, that is why you have fever. Now let's come to business focus. I have a needle and there is the eye of the needle. I have a thread. Of course, now nobody knows what a needle looks like and a thread looks like. But back then, in the days that I was kind of young, not now, but a long time ago, there was needle and thread. Now I'm putting the thread into the eye of the needle. Guess what my breath looks like? I'm putting the thread into the eye of the needle. Please tell me.
Maybe it will pause.
Yes, very good. Now, why is my breath paused?
Focused.
Focus.
Very good. So now, Suresh, we have got to the point to answer your question. What do you need to focus in your business?
Stop breathing.
Stop breathing. That's right. You got to stop breathing to get focus. Which is why most of the time when you enter the lift or when the boss enters the room, you stop breathing because you want to focus your mind. There's an intimate connection between your breathing and who you are as a person and how you're thinking. Angry is fast and shallow, interrupted is fever or pain, and then you want to kind of focus, then you want to kind of hold your breath. Unfortunately, this is a problem because human beings are constantly holding the breath, and which means that is detrimental to us. So for 8 hours in a day, you're hardly breathing. Like Sunday night, you stop breathing, and then I don't know how it works in Dubai, but in other places, Sunday night you stop breathing, and then you start breathing again on Friday night for about a few hours. So that's how it works in India, that you stop breathing all the time. Now, in yoga, we call it suspension of breath. We don't call it holding of the breath. So there is an art. As you practice the breathing practices, you're able to manipulate your breath. You're able to change your breathing pattern. The incoming breath is short, the outgoing breath is long, and you manipulate your breath in a certain way. We call it pranayama. Slowly, by and by, in a few days' time, you'll start to notice that your breathing has become more and more subtle. It's like earlier, like it was the waves on a seashore, then the breath becomes maybe like the waves hitting the shore of a lake.
Yeah,
And then
ripples on the lake.
yeah, and then eventually the breathing becomes very, very subtle. You're hardly breathing in and hardly breathing out. But the sustenance is happening because you're breathing. There is oxygen and carbon dioxide happening. Now, that is a very beautiful state. That is a state where the breath is very mild and the mind is sharp. With the needle and thread example. So that's that's the second leg, pranayama or the breathing practices. Rest was the first one, which is deep relaxation. The second one is the breath, which I thank Suresh for bringing it up. If you can manipulate your breath, then you can focus very quickly. Many times people say, if you're getting agitated or angry, just breathe deeply. You notice that? It's there in our language everywhere. Just take a few deep breaths. That is to calm yourself down. So there is wisdom in that. There is experience in that. But the better thing would be not to get to a stage where you lose your mind, you lose your cool. Better to practice some pranayama every day so that when you hit the PowerPoint presentation, you're as sharp as the axe that I was talking about earlier. The last bit is, of course, to have an understanding of diet. And diet really means to eat for the sharpness of the brain and eat at times that are the most conducive for you. So more and more people are now talking about the circadian rhythm, which is eating during the daytime when the sun is up and not eating after sunset. Traditionally, yoga recommends that you finish eating by 6 o'clock. Don't laugh, and don't say bad things about me. But that's what traditionally people say, that don't eat after sunset. We recommend in our programs that people stop eating by 6 o'clock. The last meal of the day dinner should be by 6. This doesn't apply to Friday evenings and Saturday evenings, of course. But yeah, I mean, in general, dinner by 6. And then the kind of foods that traditionally human beings used to have the sharpness of body and mind, which is a great combination of foods, not relying just on protein, carbohydrates, fats and minerals, which is a kind of food plate that has been developed over the last 70, 80 years. But traditionally, human beings never followed that kind of diet. Human beings followed a more holistic and combination kind of diet. So there is a diet which is very good for certain, geographies. If you let's say come from the coastal areas, then coconut or coconut oil is extremely relevant as an ingredient in your diet. Similarly, if you came from the arid areas, or if you lived in cold countries, like really cold, like for example in North India, um, the winter greens are something which people have as combinations. It's very good for health, it's very good for the gut, and it's very good for the sharpness of the mind, including your memory. But you can't have the leafy greens that you get in the winter in the summer, even though today we are able to manipulate the agriculture. But this is not a great thing for human beings. So this is not the protein, carbohydrate, the modern kind of approach. It's more like based on geography, the kind of genetics that you already have and are used to. For example, the thinnest people on the planet forever have been the people who consume the maximum amount of rice. But there's a great amount of fear in North India, for example, that eating rice makes you put on weight. Now, the thinnest people prove us to be contrary to that. Like, for example, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Southeast Asians, they all traditionally have carbohydrates and rice as the primary diet. And this is why this is how the brain and our mind remain sharp. A high level of energy from complex carbohydrates, not from protein. So this is something we have to understand, that the traditional approach to diet always maximized our mind, maximized our gut, maximized our brains. So those kind of foods are extremely important. Yeah. So these are the three things that I wanted to speak to you about how to focus as a business leader, working on a traditional approach to diet. Second, like Suresh mentioned, and I could reply about the breath. And the third is how to do some postures or some kind of activity, which is a non-activity for the body and the mind. It cuts off the energy that we're giving it all the time and distracting it to give the body and mind complete rest. You can try these three things, and when we meet next time, maybe a year from now, then you would have become sharper and sharper. Yes, I rest. I invite the floor to ask some questions if you like. Yes, rest, breath, diet.
Sandeep, any comments? Dr. Omkar, questions, comments?
Well, thanks for that, Arun. Very, very interesting talk there. Can you expand a little on this contradiction that you hit upon about rice and carbohydrates and this whole fad of diets?
Yes, Sandeep, the simplest way, it's not easy, the simplest way would be to look at animals and look at tradition and look at ancient wisdom. Human beings, Sandeep, you and me are like 30, 40, 50 years old. But human beings have been on the planet for 10,000 years. And we didn't get here by fluke. We have great experience on the streets, in our homes. There is a great oral and written tradition that goes back thousands of years of how human beings have lived and lived very well and lived up to 100 years of age. And somehow the modern marketing machine, like you said, has kind of demolished the whole idea that we know how to live, we know how to eat. And the one great way of figuring this out is to go back to tradition. It's still here with us. In spite of all the demolition, it's still around us. It's still available everywhere, including our grandparents, great grandparents, and then passed down through some written and oral traditions. Is already it's all well documented. So the way to look at diet would be, for example, to look at the animals and tradition. Animals, a cow doesn't wake up one morning and say, "Hey, I've heard that I'm getting less protein. I should start eating some meat." And the tiger says, "Look, man, I've heard this meat thing is not great. I need to become vegan. Where can I find some grass to eat?" The animals are not having this existential issue. They haven't evolved their brains to an extent that they are now playing to a draw. We are our biggest enemy, so to say. We are unable to use our own intelligence, intuition, and instinct to be ourselves. For example, from childhood, the child is said, please drink milk. If you don't, in India, milk is it. Without milk, nobody can grow up. And no animal drinks milk. It's a contradiction there, which has been perpetuated for maybe 100 years, that you need milk to survive. But no animal drinks milk beyond the age of weaning. And no elephant is going to, the chemist store and say, hey, I need my dose of calcium. Our bones are becoming weak. You see, no whale, no elephant, no cow is visiting the chemist shops for vitamin D or for calcium. I haven't seen any elephant, at least not in India, not in Gurgaon. We haven't seen any elephant visiting the chemist shops. How come that's so? And how come we went to Harvard and Wharton and Kellogg's and we went to, the biggest institutions in the world, and still we don't know what to eat? We've lost our instinct, our intuition, and our intelligence as far as food is concerned. So it's a very vast topic, but just to give the common sense wisdom is like this, that tradition still is very valuable. And I give the example of Japan all the time. I'm not particular about any country or any region or any culture, but Japan gives us an example of how they have retained the original culture of eating. For example, they sit on the floor. Not everybody, but they like to sit squat really low. Squatting low helps the pelvis to open up and the abdomen to remain free. You see, there is this particular kind of posture in which you sit and eat, which also matters a lot. Similarly, you use your hands, if possible. Of course, they use chopsticks. But yeah, you use your hands as much as possible, because the touch and feel is very important for human beings. And similarly, you look at what did grandfather eat, great-grandfather eat, great-grandmother eat, and how come they came to the age of 70 and 80, and they were super fit. They could walk for miles, climb for miles, and still be all right. So when we look at that kind of tradition, then you start to notice that, for example, in Japan, the eating culture is very holistic. It is not based on one thing. They have a whole array of things, and a portion of meat is a tiny portion of the entire food plate that they have. So animal protein is restricted. It's not like the biggest portion on the plate. It's one portion, and it's a mild portion. The largest portion is starch or carbohydrates, which is rice and so on, and then lots of vegetables, and then there is a side portion of meat of some kind. So we have to train ourselves, Sandeep, to first uncondition ourselves. That's the first task for me as a teacher. I do that with my students. I say, first of all, stop looking at the way you're looking at things for some time. Just give that a rest. Forget about the protein for a moment, carbohydrates for a moment. And then from there, the next step is to look at wisdom, ancient tradition, animals. A mango tree doesn't start saying, look, I want to produce apples. Can you help me to produce apples? The tree doesn't have an existential crisis, you see. In India, it's very important for kids to become tall. The taller the kid, the better it is. But the animals are not morphing like human beings. You know what I mean? That an elephant mother doesn't tell its child, look, I want to be bigger than your dad. And then the elephant, every generation is becoming bigger and bigger. Human beings are the only beings on the planet who are morphing. We are bigger than a generation ago as human beings. So we are already genetically modifying, and that's because of the diet that we are having. So my very brief answer, it's a very superficial answer for me for the moment, is for you to just be guided by a separate level of knowledge that exists in the world, rather than the superficial knowledge that we currently have, which is based on science, and science changes every day. What was science yesterday is old science today. I don't know if you know what this means, but science evolves. So what is science as a fact today is no longer science as fact tomorrow. So this fact is now becoming a view. Like this science was a view yesterday, today is the fact. So this is not great. In Hindi we say, विज्ञान रोज बदलता है, ज्ञान कभी नहीं बदलता है. Science changes every day, knowledge never changes. So you want to kind of look at knowledge rather than science as far as food is concerned. It's a very important part. I'm again very conscious of the time. I'm already, yes, Gaurav, please go ahead.
I have a request. We usually close at 9:30 officially, but we then hang out for another 10-15 minutes. So if you have time, please hang out with us. Alithia will do the honors of thanking you and then continue. We'll be in this room, whoever can continue with us. Alithia,
Thank you.
over to you.
Thank you, Gaurav, and thank you, Arun, for that mind-opening session. I think a lot of us, these are very basic and very fundamental. We run over and we run off after so many materialistic things in our life, in our careers, in our families. A lot of us are overlooking basic and the most valuable things that matter, that truly matter on the last day of your life. Because I recently had a friend who lost her mom, and then we've gone into this entire journey, and then the things that truly matter in life are overlooked. And something so basic and so simple linked to a breathing is something that we all learn today. So it was so important that every little episode that happens in our life is just linked to a breath, and so highly overlooked and so highly ignored, right? Like, and then so much in control. So if you could just, at any spur of a minute, over 10 seconds, just realign with your breath, and maybe you can realign that situation, which could today become a war or whatsoever. Are our world leaders really breathing? So maybe they need to be reminded, are you like, just go rest for a bit, and come back after. So, but thank you so much. And I mean, something like this really helps us keep grounded. And such reminders is something that in our busy schedules that we need. And thanks, Gaurav, for arranging such a brilliant speaker for all of us to take value from, So, and we really want to wish you, Arun, to stay back for a while, and I think share some more with some more, it's lots to learn, and we're very sorry to give you so little time. I think really we feel sorry, and I feel really bad to have this
Happy to come back anytime. But overdose of anything good is also bad. So give each other a break for some time, and then Gaurav is there. He can anchor it again. We can do a practice session for about 15-20 minutes or half an hour next time. That would really be very valuable to understand what we talked about today.
Yes. So I want to officially call this meeting to a close, but I think if everyone is game, do you want to do that 15-30 minute session now, or like after this thing? After the break in our, we can continue with that 15 minutes. And actually, if you want, I can keep the recording on as well. So, because we are live on YouTube. So officially, I want to officially, keeping in mind the time of all our business entrepreneurs, I want to officially call this meeting to a close.
Happy to
leave. But if we want, we're game to do, how many of you are on for this 15-minute practical session now?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, let's do it, inshallah.
Yeah.
So let's do that practical session. I'll keep the live on.
Yes.
And it would be lovely to do that session, and no time barriers anymore. People are here with their own free will, and we are here off the time limits now.
Yeah. Lovely. So thank you. Thank you for this extra time. What I'd like everybody to do is not move around, just be in one place. If you're driving, then just keep driving. Don't practice. Don't cause bad things to happen to other people. So if you're sitting, just sit. Keep your feet on the floor, and keep your back against your backrest, and keep your hands on your thighs. Just a relaxed posture. Let's do a little bit of practice to what we discussed just now, including what Suresh had brought up as an idea about breathing. And Lata, you'll have to sit up. You were basically lying down. I'm not happy about my students really lying down like this on a chair. Yeah. Looks smart. Yeah, looks smart. Yeah, very good. That's great. Yeah. Now you're looking sharp and focused. I'm muting you.
Lata's always in a resting position.
Okay, good. Now, so close your eyes and just listen to my instructions. We'll be together for about 10 minutes, and you'll really enjoy this. I promise you that. That's great. Just close your eyes and follow my instructions. Listen to my voice. Now become aware of your body as a whole. Become aware of your body from your feet to the head. Become aware of your legs. Just notice the legs. And if you find that there is some tension, then release the tension. Become aware of your arms and relax your arms. Become aware of your abdomen. Just be present to your abdomen for a moment and then relax your abdomen. Wonderful. Now become aware of your shoulders and then relax your shoulders. Very good. Allow your awareness to travel through the whole back and then relax your back. Become aware of your neck. If you find that there is any tension, just subconsciously send a silent command to the neck to relax. Become aware of your face. Have a gentle expression on your face. Unclench your jaw, soften your mouth and tongue, soften your eyes, ease out even the invisible lines on the forehead. Great. Now just take your awareness within the body. You can mentally visualize yourself. And just suggest all the organs to relax. Just send a silent mental command. Relax the lungs, the heart, and the brain. Just like, you disconnect the energy by switching off. That way, you disconnect the outgoing energy. Relax the body from inside. Very good. Now become aware of your thoughts and feelings. Let go of your thoughts. Let go of your feelings. You just suggest to your mind to relax just for a few moments. Relax the mind just for a few moments. Very good. Now turn your attention to your breath. Notice that you're breathing. The breath is coming and going. Try to keep your eyes closed so that you can follow the instructions. These are very subtle things to do. Now follow the breath. Notice that the breath is coming in and going out. Be aware of the breath. Be conscious of the breath. No need to change the breath. Just notice the breath. The breath is in the nostrils. There is the incoming and outgoing breath. Very good. Notice that the body is expanding as you breathe in. Notice that the body is contracting as you breathe out. Body expands as you breathe in. Body contracts as you breathe out. Notice the gentle incoming, outgoing rhythm of your own breath. Each time you breathe in, imagine that you're breathing in lots of fresh energy, prana. Each time you breathe out, feel yourself relax. The body expands as you inhale, lots of fresh energy. The body contracts as you exhale, you relax. Breathing in, lots of energy, prana. Breathing out, you relax. Just for a few moments, follow my count. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. You relax. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. One breath. Lata, one breath. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. You relax. Just like normally you're breathing. You're following my instructions. That's all. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You relax. Breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You relax. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very gently. Exhale gently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You relax. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You relax. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You relax. The breath inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Relax. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. You relax. Stay with the breath for just another 10 seconds. Very good. When you're ready, please come and open your eyes. And then you are now ready for your next activity of the day. Before the experience goes away, you can hit the button and share your experience of how you're feeling at the moment. The experience is very subtle, so please share whatever you like to share. You can unmute and speak.
It was really wonderful. It was
Yeah.
so relaxing, so
Yeah.
relaxing. And I think
Yeah.
this practice we have to take every day whenever we start any work, particularly to calm and cool your mind. So I really like it because see, it is something what we call as whenever there is any tension or whatever the negative or positive thoughts you have, this therapy is good, really good, really good.
Very good. Thank you, Shantanu, for sharing. That's wonderful. Yes. Anybody else would like to share?
Yeah, I thought I felt that as though the energy was shifting towards the brain from the body.
Yes.
Feeling a different sensation around my brain, head.
Very good. That's great. Thank you for sharing, Suresh. Anybody else would like to say?
I was feeling like yawning a lot. Like after a few sessions, the last few, well, I constantly felt like yawning.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to go back to sleep, really.
Very good. The reason why you were yawning, Lifia, is because there is a lot of tiredness, physical tiredness. And when the oxygen was coming into the system and the body was relaxing, it's now saying that, look, now I need to sleep, I need to rest. So it's being open with you. You remember I said that we are holding our breath all the time from Monday to Friday? That's what you're doing. You're carrying a lot of tightness and stress in the body. And then the moment you started to relax, you started yawning. The yawning is a sign that the body needs oxygen. It needs breathing. So very good. Excellent. You cooperated very well. Thank you.
Thank
So,
you, Arun. This was a
Also,
wonderful
it was
session.
like breathless.
yes.
I'll just say
It-
last thing that I think in the end, the last few breathings were like kind of you get breathless, like you can't follow your count anymore. Like it
Yes.
was initially we followed, but then
Yeah.
the last few bits were it was literally difficult to follow.
That's right. And then I slowed it down and then I let it
Yeah.
be. Yeah. Good. Very good. Thank you for the sharing. Yes, Lata?
I was saying that, it's like first you need to unlearn. We have learned a lot of nonsense and a lot of things which are not good for ourselves, for our bodies, for our brain, for our well-being, and I just put on the message also, we try and get so much information from all over the place, especially now with social media, lots of WhatsApp videos and, influencers, people who are thinking they are gurus and giving information about what to eat, what not to eat, how to sleep, how to breathe, how to exercise and all that stuff. So your mind is a big clutter,
Yes.
because you don't know whom to follow and whom to listen to.
Yes.
So but I have found after a long research and a lot of reading and a lot of listening to these people, that the best way is that follow what our ancestors taught us.
Yes.
That is the best way, because there was a scientific way of eating, sleeping, working and everything which they taught us. So we need to unlearn all these things which we have learned the wrong way, go back to the ancestral ancient kind of thing, and practice that. That is not easy to do. Like if you ask me to eat at 6 o'clock and be awake till 12 o'clock, it is absolutely not possible.
Well,
But somewhere we have to draw the line.
the ancestors also slept at 8 o'clock. So if you want
Yeah,
to follow the ancestors, you better start sleeping at 8.
right.
You gave
So
you gave yourself away just now.
yes, I did. So that has been the struggle for me. I'm trying to, match myself to what my ancestors did and still be a fast-paced lane that we live in, trying
That's
to
right.
match that. So I'm trying one step at a time to sleep a little early and eat a little earlier. Instead of 9:30, it is 7:30 now. So this
Great.
makes a huge difference in your life. That is what and a big thank you, Arun. We need more people like you to, make us healthier and happier and be successful in our life.
Thank you,
Thank you
Lata.
very
Always
much.
around. And thank you to Gaurav and Alifia and everyone else in the room for sharing and contributing. See you soon.